You see a mountain of garbage in a rural field. Heavy dump trucks crawl up a dirt road, dumping tons of plastic, rotting food, and construction debris, while bulldozers crush the waste into the earth. From the outside, this appears to be a low-status operation. The common assumption is that the business requires nothing more than a cheap parcel of land and a hole in the ground. Strip away the retail disguise, and the balance sheet reveals a highly protected geographic monopoly. The repulsive physical nature of the work serves as a shield, hiding a sophisticated financial engine that generates consistent cash flow with almost no customer acquisition costs. Opening a new landfill is a grueling, multi-year process that often breaks investors before they can accept a single bag of trash. This business operates on the same high-stakes regulatory timeline as permitting a modern gold mine. You spend 5 to 8 years bleeding capital while funding environmental impact studies, navigating state and federal EPA regulations, and fighting local community opposition. The regulatory process acts as a filter, ensuring that the few who survive the permitting phase emerge with a localized monopoly. Local governments rarely approve new sites near populated areas, effectively preventing competitors from building a rival dump within the same region. This state-enforced scarcity ensures a captive market, where the owner controls the only viable destination for the region's waste. Once the permit is secured, the physical construction of a landfill requires the engineering oversight and capital layout of a major public works project. The infrastructure standards mirror those of commercial airports, where every layer is designed for extreme durability and long-term impact. To prevent toxic waste from contaminating local groundwater, the entire pit is lined with layers of compacted clay, high-density polyethylene geomembranes, and geotextile fabrics. Complex pipe networks must be installed to collect leachate, the toxic rainwater runoff, and route it to specialized on-site treatment facilities. These systems scale the same containment math used in modern gas stations, where double-walled tanks and sensors protect the groundwater from chemical leaks. This massive upfront expenditure creates an impenetrable physical and financial barrier, shielding the operator from smaller upstarts. A landfill's operational model is the mathematical inverse of a standard supermarket. Retailers face the logistics of purchasing 40,000 products and losing billions to spoilage and theft. Landfills operate on a negative inventory model, meaning the business never pays to acquire the products it holds. Instead, the customers, municipal haulers, and private citizens pay a tipping fee per ton for the privilege of dropping off their trash. The site experiences zero inventory shrinkage, zero supply chain delays, and zero losses to retail spoilage. Over decades, the buried organic waste decays and produces methane gas. Operators capture this byproduct by installing extraction wells directly into the waste mountain. They convert this greenhouse gas into electricity or natural gas, selling it back to the utility grid as renewable energy. The operator earns revenue twice, first for taking the raw material, and again for selling its natural byproduct. While lucrative, this monopoly relies on heavy fixed costs, making the operator vulnerable to economic shifts. Debt payments, engineering salaries, and environmental monitoring costs continue even if waste volumes dip during a recession. A landfill also carries a permanent legal obligation. Unlike a traditional business, the owner cannot simply shut the gates if the profit margins turn red. When a landfill reaches capacity, the owner must cover the waste mountain with an engineered clay and synthetic cap to prevent rainwater infiltration. Once the site is full, gate revenue stops immediately, but the expenses do not. Federal law mandates that the operator monitors groundwater and manages gas extraction for at least 30 years after closure. To cover these future costs, operators are legally required to set aside a portion of their active profit into a restricted trust fund. From day one, you are paying for the maintenance of an asset that will eventually stop generating income. Owning a landfill represents a financial paradox. It is a dual revenue monopoly that legally tethers its owner to decades of liability long after the final truck departs.